What's up, and welcome back to another episode of InSights, the podcast built to help you with your recruitment and digital marketing. As always, I'm joined by Haley Marketing's Director of Recruitment Marketing. He's Matt Lozar. Matt, how are we feeling this week, buddy?
We're feeling good, Brad. How are you feeling?
I'm good, and I have something for you here, buddy. I'm in a bit of a predicament. At time of release, hang on, let me look at my calendar here. At time of release, it's August 5th.
Dog days.
I noticed something the other day, and I want your thoughts.
Okay.
I forgot to take down my Christmas lights.
Oh.
Yeah. So they're off the windows. Go ahead, please. Please.
Are you going to did you turn them on for Christmas in July?
No, I didn't. I should have. So I was cutting the grass the other day. They're off the windows. They're off the bushes. And I don't have a huge house, but I do have a 2-story house. So that peak is pretty high. I need to get a ladder to get them down. I have not taken them off the gutter line. Okay. So it's off everything else. They're not icicles. They're just little bulbs on the gutter line. Matt, it's August 5th. Do I take them down at this point?
No.
I don't think so either.
Absolutely not. You're past halfway.
I'd be getting back up there in October to put them back in a month and a half.
Absolutely not.
Outrageous. I'm sitting there cutting the grass and I look up and I'm like, holy shit, my lights are still up there. Was outrageous.
Yeah.
Wow. It caught me off guard. And it's one of those things where, again, they were off the bushes in like February. I haven't turned them on. I'm not that house. But at this point, Matt, I can't. What am I going to do? Take them down for a week and a half? Because I put them up before the weather gets lousy to make it easy. So Let's say I'd be putting them back up in like September. There's no point. Outrageous.
No, I think that's the right game plan. Right. Once you realize they've been up for almost the entirety of summer.
Yeah.
And we need to leave them up there because you're right. You usually text me because when you put up Christmas lights, for people that don't live in cold weather climates, the weather is super important. So we need to find a time to do that. It's usually October, November, or if you get lucky, something later. So like Brad said, if he took them down here beginning of August, he's literally getting back up on the ladder in 2 to 3 months. So we're going to let it ride. So
go ahead.
How are you going to make sure you take them down in 2025? Or will you?
Maybe this is just who I am now. How can I make sure I take them down? Probably the same way I remember to stay consistent with my furnace filter. Let's put it in the calendar right now. Let's do it. Let's be proactive here. So let's say April. I can't do that. That's I couldn't pick one. Let's do March 29th.
That sounds good.
Take down Christmas lights. And you know what's great about this is my wife and I, we share a calendar. Do you do that on iPhone? Go iPhone.
Oh,
people,
yeah.
I love that, first off. So she just got a notification and she's going to text me in about a minute and a half, being like, what is this?
I mean, you're allowed to have your own calendar on. You don't put on that one. But
it's just easier to, you know what I mean? It's easier because then if she has an appointment, I have an appointment. I don't have, it's easier just to look at it. But anyways, my Christmas lights will be down on now March 29th of 2025. So, hey, something to look forward to, Matt.
Look at what you've become.
There are times, buddy, where I'm getting ready for the show and I sit here and we plan our segments. I know what ads we got to get to. And sometimes it's like, oh, what is going to be that just intro conversation? This one came so organic, bud. I almost texted it to you last night saying, hey, this is what I'm going to talk about. And I'm glad I didn't. So what do you say, man? You want to get to the show?
Yes, let's get there.
Matt, I think it's time we start treating staffing websites like clothing store websites, like a Bird Dog, like a Lululemon, like insert your favorite company here. Here's what I mean by it. Those clothing companies, those websites, those direct-to-consumer sites change just about every other week. They certainly change by season. So if you were to look at a site like, I don't know, let's use Bird Dog. You go to a site like that, you're going to see tanks. You're going to see shorts on the homepage. You're going to see summer stuff in August. When I look at that website in December, they're going to drive me towards pants. They're going to drive me towards hoodies. Yep. Come spring, maybe they're advertising rain gear. They're advertising whatever it might be. It's seasonal shifting in what can we get people to buy that's going to attract their attention. Matt, I'm in a weird situation right now where I am seeing far too many staffing firms who have a goal of client acquisition, but the website screams apply now. And I understand we need candidates to apply, but when needs change and goals change, the site and your marketing needs to shift with it. It needs to sort of sway. I'm not even going to say shift. I think sway with it is a very good analogy. So, Matt, I think it's time we start treating our staffing websites like direct to consumer goods. What do you think?
I love the analogy because you see a lot of, probably isn't staffing specific. I haven't done a ton of research on this, but I'm going to now. A lot of B2B. I know there's some B2C here if you're thinking staffing agency to candidate, but B2B websites are stale a lot of the time. We have our website, we don't change it. And one, your business needs change, but also I think even just from the standpoint of, you use this example of the clothing company, it just makes it fresh. Oh, something's new. That picture's different than the last time I visited. Right. We're going to notice that. And it'll just, instead of being just even if your website's awesome and looks great and colorful and all that, if somebody goes to it repeatedly, it becomes gray.
Yeah.
It becomes background noise. Yeah. So if the copy changes, if the photos change, if it's seasonal, whatever it needs to be, that can be a simple way, not just even Brad's big picture question, which we're probably gonna dig into even more, but it's a simple way to keep it fresh and allow people to constantly think something's new.
What about for special offers for sales? Now, Gymshark's a great example here. They had a 60% off sale, and then I found a promo code for another 10% off. Matt, I must have had this cart built for 4 days. I went to the site to buy the next day, and the entire site had shifted, and the sale was over. Distraught. But what can you do, friends, to drive direct response to something very, very specific? Do you have a hard to fill job right now? Do you have a top job to fill right now? Matt, I remember one client we were working with needed 50 warehouse workers at FedEx within a week's notice. They got the order. They had to fill it super quick. We took over the entire website to funnel everything to that job. No other job mattered. I'm sure for some of their other recruiters in the company it did, but nothing mattered besides filling that for a week. Can we do that? Can we make those changes on the fly to say, listen, this is the priority? Yes, we can revert back to the way things were afterwards. But Matt, I think we need to have the courage to do that. And that's going to be a little difficult. If you're sitting here thinking, well, how do I do that? Yes, all websites are customizable. If you're built in WordPress, it's a little bit easier. Or you need to have a friendly help like Haley Marketing or somebody else who can go in and do that for you. But it's finding the person who can facilitate that for you and saying, listen, you're my strategic partner on this. Let's sway with where we're at in our business, with our needs, with our goals, and make it happen. Matt.
You need a marketing expert you can trust. It can be internal. It can be an agency. It can be a contractor, whoever it needs to be to trust. And then, it's like anything in life, what you're doing, you're explaining what you need, what you want, what the latest changes are in your business. And then they can hopefully, I would think the goal is to work with someone that can help you meet that goal. Okay, here's the strategies or maybe even the tactics on a website that we can do. If it's, a fly-in that looks good, that's big with sales. You don't want to abuse the fly-in. Yeah. But, I'm thinking, Major League Baseball, I'm sure had one with the All-Star game recently, sale, whatever percent off, or NFL season starting, training camp sales, get your gear for the new season. I just got
an email from New Era or Lids about all the training camp gear for the Bills. Yeah. I just got it yesterday.
So seasonal, and you do it in tactics that work, and it's multi-channel now. We're going outside of the websites, but if you have your website that features it, maybe it's the copy, the imagery, a fly-in, a call to action. You send out an email, you send out a text, you do some remarketing for it, and all of a sudden you're in 4 different places with that audience, and it's becoming impossible. You do a social post, 5, it's impossible for them to ignore.
So have the courage to think differently in an industry that is commoditized, that is very much, we're all sort of doing the same thing. Have the courage to think differently. Matt, you got something you want to say?
I'm just saying, I'm building off of saying, I would love staffing companies or any B2B companies that are listening to be seasonal, be intentional with that website, and don't be static. That's, it's a small differentiator, but you shouldn't put a lot of time into it. Like, don't spend thousands of dollars to change your website every few weeks. Yeah. quick tweaks, have a good process for it, it has to help you stand out.
It'd be super cool. This is so minute, and in the great scheme of things, when we think about marketing and messaging and strategy and all that, it doesn't truly, I guess, matter. But how cool would it be if just the imagery changed? Right? Mm-hmm. You're in Buffalo, New York. You know the leaves are going to change in the fall, so all your imagery across the website shifts to job seekers in the fall, shifts to families in the fall, people in the fall. Right? That shifts to summer. Now people are in shorts and t-shirts. In the winter, the site completely changes, and now you're in Buffalo in the winter. Right? That to me is super, super interesting, and I don't know of anybody who is doing that. That's a lie. I know of one client who emails us every year, and I don't know their name, but I know they email us every single year telling us to turn the Christmas lights on.
Oh yeah.
You know, right? You know what I'm talking about? And on their website, they have Christmas lights that drip over the main navigation. Friends, I'm not hiding their name for sake of doing it. I truly can't remember who it is, but that's different. That is, I guess, a differentiator.
What's funny is they were in my head about 5 minutes ago and I didn't know their name, so I didn't bring them up.
Yeah. Because of my Christmas lights. Yeah. So again, friends, I think it's time for staffing websites to become much like D2C websites. What can we do to make sure that there is a seasonal shift in our website? What can we do to make sure that as needs sway, right? We're not going to say shift. As they sway, the site changes with them. Calls to action, your pages change, your main navigation maybe shifts a little bit. If it's clients, if it's candidates, whatever it might be, what can you do to make sure that you're acting like a direct-to-consumer brand in funneling people to take action when you need it most? Matt, I want to talk about storytelling in recruitment marketing. I am on a kick lately, buddy, as it relates to case studies and case stories. And I don't think we're doing enough as an industry to showcase our wins and showcase those case studies. What are you seeing in the recruitment marketing space?
Right up your alley. Probably not enough of the wins. Actually did a webinar on this topic in June with Lunch with Haley, where I looked outside the industry on how your competitors are doing recruitment marketing. And I think this is where we can have lessons learned from the big, I'd say Fortune 500 companies, just bigger companies. Doesn't have to, we have to have the same amount of content produced, but Walmart's in my head of they were showing all their different associates and everyone that got to go to a specific conference throughout the year and how, anniversaries or promotions, and we do okay with promotions and anniversaries, but I think really telling, the next level stuff, like anniversaries and birthdays and promotions are simple.
Yeah.
But what can we do that showcases, okay, I worked here for 5 years. I became a manager, Brad's staffing company helped me become, take these next steps with my jobs and in my career. That's the case studies I don't think we're seeing. And if we have them, it's much easier to connect. People will connect to that.
People love a good story. Matt, I'm thinking of the social posts that I'm sure you've seen before, whether it's Subway, McDonald's, Walmart, but it's somebody's basically name tag from when they first started. And then 15, 20 years later, they're like the store manager or from a franchisee owner, something like that at McDonald's or a Subway. Why aren't we doing that more with our candidates and our associates who have been with us for years? I don't see nearly enough case studies about, hey, I've been working with Matt since 2012. For the last 12 years, I've gotten Matt 8 different assignments. Let's talk about all of those. Let's showcase the relationship that you have with Matt. Make it a video, make it a podcast, make it content, make it a case study. Lean into that because people want to know as a recruiter, you're there for them in the long term. You're not just putting them to work and forgetting about them. And that's a negative stereotype with our industry. So lean into that, know it's a negative stereotype and do something about it. What can we do to showcase the relationship that you have with individuals? What can you do to not only have a case study about the short win? Hey, Matt needed a job. We found him a job. But also those individuals who you've been working with for over a decade, whatever it might be. Matt, I remember one client we were working with, they were in travel healthcare. They were working with somebody for like 20 something years. They were working with somebody for super long. Showcase that. Make a story out of that so that others can say, listen, I want to trust Brad's staffing firm because they're going to be with me forever. They're here. They're in my corner. They're my career agent, to pull it back to the staffing shark and how he thinks about himself and positions himself. Matt, anything else?
I think you talk about, the Staffing Shark. I was thinking of Take the Stage with Tom Erb. I was just listening to it the other day with one of your first episodes there.
Yeah, thank
Was
you.
he the first?
Dan Morey was the first, but Tom was very early.
My bad. Tom Erb was talking about building testimonials in the B2B side. What can we learn from the B2C side? The candidate side is when someone compliments you, something really nice, then you ask them for the testimonial case study. It has to be in the front of your thought process to be proactive with it. We joke about it all the time here at Haley Marketing. If someone shares a success in our good news channel or our congrats channel, somebody more than likely will chime in and just say, this would make a great case study. It has to be at the thought of your, the front of the thought process here. And it can feel weird to ask sometimes and not everyone will say yes if you ask, but you don't know if you don't ask. So
Correct.
Have a nice process, make it easy for them to have that testimonial. You'll frame it. They might be nervous on what do I say, all this doubt or just hesitancy on their end. Make it easy. Say, okay, I can, we can ask you these couple questions. Do you just want to send me some thoughts? I can frame it up a little bit better for you. That's where when you've placed someone, they've been with you for a number of years, showcase them, ask them, say, you want to make them that, showcase their hard work and success to everyone.
So that's your homework, friends. Before next episode, think about one client and one, let's call them associate, that you can position as a case study and a case story. Someone who loves working with you. Maybe it's somebody who is long-term you've been working with. Maybe it's somebody who had a really, really interesting challenge that you were able to, as a team, troubleshoot. Turn that into a success story on your website, for social, for content, whatever it might be. If you need help actually crafting that and formulating what that might look like, you can reach out to me or Matt on LinkedIn. We'd love to chat about what that looks like in terms of a deliverable. But your homework by next show, think about one client and one associate that you can definitively say they're going to be our case study. And then think about what you can do to actually get that implemented onto your website. Matt, before we get to segment 3, I want to talk about Smart Ideas Summit 4, presented to you by Haley Marketing. Tuesday, September 17th from 9 a.m. till 5 p.m. Eastern time. We're going to bring you smart ideas from the smartest minds in staffing. That's 7 hours, 14 speed talks, and priceless ideas. Friends, think about it like TED Talks for the staffing industry. We're going to bring you 20-minute sessions across the day from 9 a.m. until 5 p.m., completely over Zoom. And we're calling it the Smart Ideas Summit 4, cleverly, because it's our 4th time doing it. You don't need to register and attend the entire day, but you do need to register to get access to the event and to get the recordings after the event. So you're going to go to haleymarketing.com/smartideas to save your spot for the Smart Ideas Summit 4. Matt, let's get to our final segment. 5 ways to nurture your client database this month without picking up the phone. Matt, I know we need to make phone calls. I'm assuming all of our listeners are already calling people. Let's throw that out the window. Matt, I want to bring 5 actionable ways that we can stay in front of our client database in the month of August without touching a phone. You want to go first or second?
I'll go first and I'll start with email.
Of course you're going to start with email. What are you going to do to that email database?
I'm going to email them, Brad. Okay. Come up with...
That's our show. And thank you for listening.
That's why you've listened to 149 episodes of InSights. Email your client list. Yeah. No, we're going to email them. Have a plan if it's through automation. Hopefully that's not an answer here. But some type of I think automation can work well with emails, or just, you could send out... I'll go with top talent, MPCs. Some most placeable candidates, candidates we have on our end that we can send out to our clients and showcase, if it's a manager, if it's just an hourly worker, if it's a travel nurse, if it's a whatever talent you're trying to place. Be proactive. Hopefully to someone you've talked to before. Becoming a big pet peeve of mine that random companies are sending me candidates through my email who I have never talked to this person before in my life. Understand how people get names and whatnot, but why I'm getting talent for programmers and CEOs and CFOs or whomever, and I don't hire, I've never talked to you before. I guess you're going straight for the win, but let's nurture that relationship beforehand. But you can use email to be proactive to skill market top talent.
I was sitting at the California Staffing Professionals annual conference having breakfast, table of 5 or 6 people. One individual at the table said every single time they send an MPC email, they get an order. Every single time, 100% success rate. We were just talking about how she was talking about it, I didn't even bring it up. If they send out one of their top candidates or a top individual that they're working with and trying to place somewhere to their client database, they get an order every single time. It is foolproof. Got to be doing that. Matt, I'm going to say we need to be using LinkedIn advertising and targeting these people. If you're in a different space where it's not worth the cost per click, then we'll also say Facebook advertising. And we'll just sort of group this together as social advertising. We can be uploading this database to social platforms and serving ads to keep you top of mind with your client database. And you should be doing this. This is table stakes in 2024. Individuals are not ready to make a decision. We need to stay on their radar. So we need to be serving social ads. Matt, number 3.
Means I have to come up with 3 total, and you only have to come up with 2. Poor choice on my part.
Hate to see it.
We're going to mail them something.
Ooh, put something in the mail.
Yeah.
What are you going to mail them?
I don't know. Case study.
I don't know what I'm going to call them about. I'm going to email them and then I'm going to mail them something. Yeah, we're gonna mail them something in the mail. Matt, Go ahead, please.
I'm thinking about we're gonna mail something that speaks to their pain point,
okay.
And just and answers that, and hopefully, they know who you are already. It's not just the it could be a postcard, but it probably needs to be more than one postcard, or more than one piece of mail. But I'd mail them something that speaks to their pain point and how you can help.
Yeah, and that can be as basic as a postcard and just saying, hey, here's a pain point, here's how we solve that solution, all the way to a more integrated direct marketing campaign, actual tangible direct mail campaign, whatever it might be, that'll go through that spectrum. So we're doing email, we're doing social, we're going to mail them. Matt, how can you nurture your client database? I did it this morning, and I'm going to teeter email, but I reached out to somebody who is no longer a client of Haley Marketing, and I said, hey, you want to grab coffee next week? So we're going to actually try to schedule just a quick chat, right? And this individual, I'm excited to meet with them next week. They're in town for a little bit, so it makes sense for us to chat. But we're going to nurture our client database, not by talking business. I'm not going in with a sales mindset. If you're listening right now, that's not the purpose of our meeting next week. I'm not going to say her name, but Matt, we're just going to have a friendly conversation. We're just going to check in, see how things are going. So we're going to book an appointment, have some coffee just to catch up and see how things are going.
What's our last one? I'll use my phone.
So we have email, we have social. We're going to mail them something. We're going to catch up over coffee.
What
else? We could text them.
You told me I can't use the phone.
Ooh, I did say without.
Or did you say we can't call someone?
I said in the show notes it says without picking up the phone, to be specific. Right. But email, social, we're going to mail, we're going to catch up over coffee. What else can we do to nurture our client database?
General tactics makes this tough.
Yeah, you're stumping me here. Email, that's why I wanted you to go first. And this is also, friends, why we didn't plan for this one and why I didn't really send the list to Matt ahead of time, because we wanted to do it real time. I guess you could pick up the phone and call people.
We could go to their place of work.
I actually drop in. Yeah, I just thought of another one too. So drop in, go there, and just see how things are going. Matt, it's sort of a roundabout answer, but what about just creating a really great ebook or a really great resource that speaks to your client database's biggest pain point? And that might also fuel a lot of the other things. But if we want to nurture our client database, they need to know that we're up to date in their business. Yep. So we're going to create great content that speaks to their challenges, their pain points, and create an ebook this month that speaks to the biggest challenges in the hiring landscape in Buffalo, New York. I'm sure we're missing some on the fly. If there's anything that you could think of, what you're doing to nurture your client database that doesn't involve picking up the phone, because we're assuming you're already doing that, we'd love to know. You can message Matt or Brad on LinkedIn and let us know. We will give you a shout out in the next episode. Matt, anything else before we get out of this one?
I think we're good to go.
That's our show. And thank you for listening to another episode of InSights. If you found this episode valuable, we would love to know. You can message Matt or Brad on LinkedIn to share your thoughts. If you have a question for us, you can tweet us at Haley Marketing and let us know what you're thinking, or email info@haleymarketing.com. And be sure you tell them InSights sent you. My podcast partner, Matt Lozar. This is Brad Biley. See you next time for episode 150, friends.